right? So that's what we learned assertion yesterday. Correct. So let me check is there any other assertion left. Huh. So right now there could be a one type of requirement is like I have two APIs. Let's say get employees and get employees name. So I want to check the response of get employees and get employees one or same or not. Let's say in the get employees, I got some ID one equal to employee name Tiger, right? And second API also I'm getting ID one employee name Tiger. So how do you verify that? I want to know whether in the both responses one of the elements are same or not. So if I put a ID name one here, Tiger Nexon, what I can do, I can simply put a response assertion or JSON assertion, right? For both of the things. Okay, but how do you know that whether this is properly not there in the employee? Suppose let's say Tiger Nexon is there here, right? So in the response, I'm also expecting Tiger response, Tiger Nexon, or I'm expecting some ID equal to one. So I want to fail the request if ID one is not there in the second request also, or I want to fail the first one if ID one is not there. So when you want to do assert in the combination of two or three requests like this, because whatever the asserts till now what we learned, they are limited to the particular request only, right? So if I add JSON to this request, it will do only. If I add JSON on global level, it will do individually, but it won't do compare. Okay, request is there or request is not like that. That's where we will be going with a bean shell assertion. So bean shell assertions are nothing but it will help us to write a code. Okay, so you will be seeing bean shell components in all the and most of the components in JMeter. So bean shell is nothing but whenever your JMeter components is not able to help you with a requirement. So I have one requirement, right? I don't have any proper geometry component to achieve that requirement. So what I will do, I'll write a code to achieve that. Okay. So like this, we have bean shell assertion. In the timers, we have bean shell timer. Same like bean shell preprocessor, post processor, bean shell post processor, and our sampler also we have bean shell sampler. So we'll discuss all these bean shell there and the last with the coding. Is bean shell. Okay. In the JMeter, if you have a requirement and not able to find suitable component to get that, you can use a bean shell. Okay. Okay, we'll discuss all the bean shell components in the last. Okay, so that are the assertions part. It's clear, right? Assertions, response assertion, JSON assertion, size assertion, duration assertion. Any doubts there? Hello, everyone. It's clear, right? Assertions.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Shall we go to next topic? So till now, what we discussed thread group, right? And discuss listeners and assertions. Okay. So let's go to the timers. So what is the timer? What is the timer used for? So timer is nothing but to create a delays in script.
For loading, to check
Sorry?
the load.
No, no. No, suppose that's right. If I run a JMeter script, it will execute the seconds in a fraction of seconds. Right? Based on the APS, whatever it is there. Right? Now, but in the real time, the user will take a lot of time, right? It could be average users or high speed users or normal users. Right? Each user has each perspective of the time. So now we have to invoke or we have to create that delay in our script so that it will match to real case. Because our servers expected, okay, there could be delay while going for each and pay so that they have some time to process it. But from your JMeter, you are running the script continuously without any delays and you will get errors. It means you can't go developer saying that I'm getting errors of this thing. So we have to mimic the real-time user scenarios. In real time, the average delay is 5 seconds, though we have to test with 3 seconds. It's not like that we'll test exactly with 5. If a real time gap is 10 seconds, we'll take some gap with 6 or 5 seconds. Okay. So to achieve the delay, the timer's component will be helpful for us. Okay. Yeah. So let's take new request. Okay. Add thread group, add sampler HTTP request. Okay. So if I go to any other website, right? Let's take one particular application. Out of path, protocol, and method and server name, which things will be common? If I take any one single particular application, out of these 4 components, which component is most common in a given application?
Protocol server.
Okay. Others?
Yes. Protocol.
Mm-hmm. Right? Only protocol server are common, right? Because these methods will change, the path will change.
Server is common.
The protocol server is common. So now let's say I have a 20 request here. Okay, I have recorded or written manually for all these things. Let's say I have recorded from the UAT, let's say I recorded from the dev environment. Okay, so now if I want to run the same script in the test, what could be only difference? The difference will be the URL, right? Your dev and test environments. Nothing else, no? Generally, if we have test, dev, production environments, the what is differences? Code will be same, the URL will be changed to access it. So now if I want to move the complete dev script to test script, what I have to do? I have to go each request and I have to change the server name from dev to test, dev to test, dev to test. Suppose in the future I want to run the same text to production. So again, I need to come here and again I need to change all my server names from test to production, right? That's a little bit hectic, no? Or else we have to maintain 3 different scripts. So instead of doing all these things, we have some common elements. Okay. The first one of the element is add config element HTTP request defaults. Request default nothing but whenever a HTTP request is blank of server name or the protocol, it will pick up from here. If you have path also, it will become a path. Okay, let's see. Let's keep a HTTP request one. Okay. Control C. Okay, let me put 2.
Should be group level. That group level.
Thread group, or you can put test plan also. If you have multiple thread groups, you want to, you can put test plan. Either way. So then it's applicable to all thread groups, right? Okay. Now, suppose, yeah. Okay, let me add listener. Let me save the script. Timers. Right? No, let me put here slash as a common, right? So in the request defaults, if I put HTTPS, the server name request.in as of now. Okay. So now if you see here, I didn't mention anything now in all the requests 1, 2, 3, 4. But if I run the script now, so you go to request, see request.in, second request, third request, fourth request. So what is happening? Whenever your HTTP request have a blank field, and at that time it has a default component, it will look into the required defaults and whatever is there, it will pick up. Suppose I want to change it to dev to test, right? What I'll do, simply I'll come to one place and will simply put dev here. Let's say. So then it will run. So whatever the now entire script will be changing the URLs. So this is the one of the way to use request defaults component, right? Whenever a bulky APIs are there and lot of things you have to change or environment wise you have to do. In that case, you have to request defaults instead of hard coding in the each and every request. It's clear request defaults?
Okay. Okay. At the time of required, only path only we need to change.
Only path or method? Whatever else, only the server name and protocol only. Whatever you think common,
No.
you can keep here. So that whenever going next environment, right? Dev to prod will change the only URL. You don't have to go. Suppose see, I have 3 or 4 APIs. I can do manual come here. Okay, I'll change from dev to test to prod. But I have 20, 30 APIs. Each and every time I can't go and can't change the script, right? In between. That's not allowed. So that's where you have to use this required first component to use this way. Okay. So let's go to the timers. So to use the timers, understand. So we'll be adding a resource table. So why we are adding resource table? Because in the resource table only, I can see the start times clearly, right? At one shot. Right? I can see start time so that we can understand timers in much better way. Okay. So if you observe, what does it mean the start time? What is meaning of the start time? What is the meaning of the start time? If I say HTTP request one has the start time, what does it meaning?
Script start time, execution start time.
Others, what does it meaning? Script is started this time, right? Right. Started nothing but when the script is started this time. HTTP request one, JMeter has initiated the request at this time. Now what is the sample time? Tejasvi, what is sample time?
The server and that difference
Response time.
response time. Okay.
Right. So now, Shweta, if you just check this time, what is time, Shweta, now?
The difference, Ravi.
No. What is the start time here of the request to?
8:22, 13
No.
minutes.
What does it mean? What does it mean?
The request time.
The started request time, right? Right. Now, if you carefully observe, let's open the calculator. Right. So let's say when the request started 12:51, 1.5, right? So 112.551. Okay. Plus, what is response time? Nirila, what is the response time of request one? Okay. Let's say plus 632, right? I can't plus it. No, it is milliseconds, no? So convert it into seconds plus 0.0682. What is the value I got here? 13.223. So if you observe a second request start time, what is second request start time?
13.234.
Same, right? What is we got? 13.233, 13.234. Millisecond difference.
Yes.
It's same. So what does it mean? Means JMeter has started request one, and once it completed the request one, then it started request two. That's what it meant, right? The start time. Now let's calculate. Let's calculate this time. 13 dot second request start time, 13 dot 234. What is the response time? What is the response time of second request?
468.
468.
0.468. No? We have to count everything in a seconds. Okay. Equal to. Now, what is the third request start time?
703.
What we got here? Same, right?
Yes, sir.
So what does it mean? So once request was completed, then immediately started request 3. Same as like once request is completed, then immediately see request 4. Means JMeter always execute in sequential. To prove that in sequential, we have the start times. Okay. So if you observe, there is no gap, right? With all the requests. Whenever JMeter is waiting for the previous request, immediately start the next request. Correct. So now let's put a timer. Okay. So in the order, do you remember the order? We discussed the scope of and order of the elements in JMeter. In the order, what we discussed, do you remember? Whether a timer will come or sampler will come before. Let's test and see. Okay, I'm adding a timer to request 3. Add now timer. Let's add a constant timer. Okay, constant nothing but single fixed value, right? Suppose if I give here 3 seconds, 3 seconds nothing but 3000 milliseconds, right? So if I run the script now, so what should I expect? Now timer is here, right? So now what do you expect? The delay between 2 and 3 or 3 and 4? If I run the script, the delay will be between 2 and 3 or 3 and 4.
3 and 4.
Okay, others?
Yes, 3 and 4.
3 and 4, okay. Teshvi?
I'm feeling 2 and 3.
Okay, Nirila? Nirila, still we are not able to hear you. Just ping me in chat if you are able to hear us at least.
Maybe some
Okay.
problem.
Okay, yeah, okay, that's fine. Right? So only Tejas said 2 and 3, and Sweta and Suresh said 3 and 4, right? Let's run and check. Okay. So let's open our calc. Okay, so let's first check 3 and 4, no? Method people said 3 and 4. What is the request time of third one? Sorry, what is start time of third one? 25 dot 192. What is response time?
466.
466.
0.466. So ideally, and plus we have to add 3 seconds, right? Delay. Plus 3, sorry,
Plus 0.256.
3. Oh, no, the 3 only. So we got 29.124. But when it started,
28.
25.5658.
25.
It's not expected. Now let's go to 2 and 3. So what is the request? Start time of second request? 20.487. What is the response time? 1691. No? It means 1.6 now. It's 1.691. By divided by 1000, simple, right?
Yes.
Yeah, 1 point. Now enter plus, so, and 22 plus 178. Now if I add 3 seconds plus 3, see 25.1. One is request started, 25.9. So this is match. You can ignore the 170 192 millimeter difference, but you can see, right? 3 seconds. So what is
Yes.
happening? The request is applied between 2 and 3. Why? Because let's say in the flow of, right, request one executed, request executed. Now request 3 and timer are in same place, correct? So now, as per our order, timer will execute always first. So it means delay will come here, then only request will execute. As per our JMeter order, if there is sampler, if there is timers are there, timer will execute first, then sampler. Let's say in simple words, right? Suppose I want to put delay at this request 3. So in real time, what I want to do, when a request 2 is done, I want some gap, then I want to go request 3. Right? If you think in that way, forget about order. So in that case also it's same thing. Na? I want to put delay to request 3 means I need to add timer to request 3. So it means then delay will come, then only people will hit in the request 3. Understood, right? Why the timer executes by 2 and 3? So whenever the sampler and timer in a place, the timer will always execute first, then sampler. Okay. So that's why we got here delay, we got extra 25 seconds instead of 22.178, we got 25.192. So 3 second delay we got added. Now, if I put the request, this timer to request 2. Okay, now tell me, so where the time delay will be there? Between which request? 1 and 2 or 2 and 3?
1 and 2.
right? Okay. Suresh, I kept a timer to request 4. Then where the
3
delay
and
will
4.
be?
3 and 4.
4. Okay. Now if I put a request to 1, then
1 and 2.
No, at the first timer, I mean, it will take the request slowly. After that time, that first request will go.
yeah, once you run the script, if you see here, let's run. So first always time will execute here. If you run here, see, you can see there is no request. 0, 2, 3. Then you can see 3-second delay request started. Because anyway it's first, right? So it apply the delay, then it will start the request one. So to confirm it, right? Let's open this exclamatory mark. Okay, we'll see the logs here, right? The tool logs. Initially we discussed. If you see, when the geometry engine has started, it started at 832.00.462. I mean, this is where geometry started. When click on run button. But whereas your request one has started, what is the value here? 03540, 3-second difference. Got it right? 3.543 here, and what is the value? 0.462. Now let me keep the timer here, and let's check the first request times again. Okay, it started with 32.59445. If you see here, 32.59. You understood right now? If you keep timer at first request, the delay will be applied, then it will start the next request. Okay. Now, if I put a request in the global level, timer in the global level, now what will happen? If I run a script now, what will happen if I put a timer in the global level?
For each request, it will take the time.
Each
It
request?
will wait. For each request, HTTP request, it will start at the point of starting only. It will wait, and it will continue. Again, it will wait.
Yeah. So each and every request will take because the global applied, right? So say we'll say 3-second, 3-second, 3-second delay to each and every request. Now there is delay. Now see 53 now. So you will see some 57. See 3-second change around. Now again 61 change. 60. Now again one more 3 seconds. See 4 5 seconds. You guys understood, right? The timers. So in a real time, to mimic the use case, we have to add timer. But now, if you observe clearly, if I add this constant timer, what is happening? If I run with 100 users, 1000 users, all 1000 will come to request one, some gap, then request to some gap, request it. It's same gap, right? It means same pattern of load is going on. I mean, all will come request one only, then only all will go to request two. But in the real time, do you think every user has same gap?
No.
All right. Some users may have speed, which are very habituated on the website or with the IT knowledge, they may go speeder. Or the students, right? They may slower. Or the people who doesn't have much experience in the systems and computer, they may a little bit slower. So we have different gaps. So then, but if you run our script like this, then it's not real case, no. So how to do that? We have to give a different times. Correct. Then only the load will be properly balanced on all the pages irrespective of the time. I mean, sometimes request two will go, sometimes request two like that. So to use or to go to the, I mean, to go to add it, make it real time scenario, we will be adding one more timer to make a dynamic gap. Correct. If I add dynamic gap, now what will happen? It's like kind of real time, right? Each user, each request has different gap. Okay. So let's go to that. Let me disable this. Okay. Let me go to request to add timer. The timer is Gaussian random timer. The name itself saying, right? What is random? Whenever you say any random method, random number, random variable, what is your random?
It's not sequential. It's
Others, what is a random?
you pick randomly like 1, 3, 4.
So random nothing but you can't put it on a number. It's not in a sequential. It could be anything. It could be 1, it could be 100, it could be 200, it could be 1000, anything. So here the time, because we need that thing also, right? In the timer, we want to get different time. We shouldn't expect the pattern. That's where using Gaussian random timer. Why Gaussian? Gaussian nothing but we'll use one Gaussian formula to generate the time. I can't give the time on my own basis, right? There should be some logic. Okay. Let's go. Let's check the formula of Gaussian random timer. Okay. So Gaussian timer is like calculated in this way. Delay will be equal to your Gaussian factor, okay, into deviation. Okay, your Gaussian factor into deviation, this value, right? And plus your constant delay. So combination of this formula will get output that we call the delay. Okay, so what is the Gaussian factor? Gaussian factor will vary from -1 to 1. Okay, so now let's say here 5 seconds. Okay, let's be in a second so that it's more easy to use. Let me put here. Let's make this as 3 seconds. Make this is 5 seconds. So as per formula, right? Let's take minimum value of Gaussian factor. If I do -1 Gaussian factor into 3, right? What is the deviation here? My deviation is 3. And delay is 5 seconds. So now as per minimum formula, -1 into 3 plus 5. What is the value? 8. Same as if you take a positive value. Highest value of Gaussian factor, 1 into 3. Okay. Sorry, it's 2, right? -3 is 2. Sorry. -3, no, it's a +3 here. Okay, then it is a 8. So it means when you given this formula and if run, your delay will be around 2 or around 8 or around between 2 and 8. So every time when I run, you will get different value because this Gaussian factor will keep on changing. Okay, let's run and see whether we are getting with the 2 and 8 or not. Okay, let's open the Calci. So we kept a timer between 2 and 3, right? So where the delay will be there? Where the delay will be applicable? I kept between timer 2 and 3.
1 and 2.
1 and 2, no? So let's take first request. What is first request start time? 45.188. Plus, what is the response time? First request?
0.576.
0.576. Okay. This is what ideal second request should start. Correct. But when it started, let's do minus of when it started 54.239. See what is difference now? Around 8.4 seconds. What we are expecting here? Around 2 or 2 and 8 or around 8. Okay, let's run again. Let me clear this. Let's run second time. Let's see how much delay we're getting. Okay, now let's add 2.176 plus what's the response time? 0.639. So ideally it should start with 2.815. But when it started, what is second request start time? Minus 11.107. So you got again 8.2. Okay, you understood, right? Now, if you run calculating, every time you'll get different values. So with this help of this timer, in the real time, we will mimic the real time scenario. So that every time it will get a new time. So that all users won't be going user request one. Some request one due to this delay, some will go on request two, some on request one only. Like that, the complete pattern will change and you will see the real load test on the servers. Okay, now let's say to test the formula, whether really the formula is working or not, how can I test it? I mean, I want proper sure confirmation. How can I test it? So here, if you observe, whatever you given deviation, right? Value, it is into Gaussian factor, correct? If I make the deviation as 0, then what will happen? If I make deviation as 0, what will happen?
Will be 5.
Irrespective of the Gaussian factor, right? It will be 5 only. Correct. Whatever the value you pick up, whatever the Gaussian factor could be -1, -0, 1, any value. Your delay will be only a constant delay. Right? If I run the script now, I'll run the script 2 or 3 times. So we should get only 5 seconds delay. Correct?
Yes.
Right? That's the like confirm whether real formal correct or not. So let's run the script. So when is the request start? What is start time of the request one? 11.039. What is response time? 0.603. Okay. Now minus, what is the second request start time? 16.64. How much we got?
5
Yes.
seconds.
It means our formula is correct, right? So if you give a deviation of 0, so Gaussian pattern deviation 0, so only we have our delay will be per constant time. So this completes this component is ruled out. Okay, let's run second time. 0.148 plus what is response time? 0.601. If read 0.749. Now minus what is second record start time? 5.763. See how much? 5.014. You can ignore the millisecond difference, 5 seconds, right? Clear now? Random timer. Everyone.
Yes, Ravi.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this we'll be using in our scripts in real time. We'll be using constant timer, but not like as we are using constant timer. Okay. Yeah. So now along with this timers, okay. I have one more timer. Let me right click add. Okay. Same as like we have uniform random and Poisson random. Okay. These are the same concept, but little bit pattern will change. Okay. So as it's a like assignment, we have to go through these 2 timers and we'll discuss in the tomorrow the assignment of it. Right? Okay. So now one more timer here is suppose
Uniform and random.
yeah, uniform random timer and Poisson random timer. Uniform random timer and Poisson random timer. These 2. Okay. That's you 2 guys have to check it. Okay. Right. Now let me disable the timer here. Okay. So now there is one requirement like I want to hit this request to for all the users at same time. Now we go on to thread group, right? Now tell me, I want to achieve, let's say I have given 5 users. Okay. Let's say 5 users. I will be adding a variables table, control C request only, okay, to only see the request to data. If I run the script now, if you observe request 2 times, these are completely different, right? 23, not normal time, right? Completely different or not? Not same time, correct? So now, but I have a requirement in my load test. I want to hit, given whatever the number of users, whether I give 10, 20 or 100, all the users should hit this API at same time. Now tell me one by one, based on we learn what are the learned ramp up, loop count, number of threads. Now tell me how can we achieve that? I want to achieve request to at same time. You got the question right?
Yes.
So how can I achieve that? what are the parameters you can give in thread group? I want to achieve the request to start at same time.
Using timer,
No, only thread group. Just tell me only thread group.
only thread group.
Whatever we learned in thread group, just remember how can you achieve. The question is how to hit the request at same time. So now think from that perspective, how to achieve, how we can put a load such that you can start at every time. So in thread group, what are the components we have? Thread group, what are the components we have? We have threads, ramp up, loop count. Guys, got my question right first?
Yes.
Now what ramp up will do?
That
What is use of
increases.
ramp up?
The delay in the users.
User between user, right? So
Yes.
if I give ramp up 0 or 1, what does it mean?
So at the same time, everyone will.
Yeah, at same time everyone will start, right? So let's me put here 0 or 1. 1 has 0, let me put 0. Okay, so let's go to entire test. If you observe, request 1 start at same time, almost, correct? Correct or not?
Yes.
But if you observe, request is not at same time. Ideally, but with differences. So at the 5 users, I can see. But if I run with 10, right, there will be variants. But my requirement is for request 2, not request 1. So irrespective of whatever the ramp up you will put, that will only applicable request 1 only, because once your request 1, based on response time, only request 2 will start, right? If one user having a low response, so immediately start request 2. But second user, the first request take more time, obviously your second request take time. So it can't be in sync. Correct? Because request 1, there is no previous request, so that's why you got same time. But once you start request 1, if the request 1 serves all the at the same time, then only request will start. But that we can't expect, right? We don't know that. So what else we have in third group? The loop count, if you give the loop count, that will iterate it one by one, but that not achieve at same time. Correct? So we can't achieve with the thread group. We can't achieve with whatever the scenario as mentioned, right? I want to hit all the requests at the same time. So that's where we have one more component in the timer. The timer is nothing but synchronizing timer. Add timer, synchronizing timer. What is synchronizing them? What is the name? Normal synchronizing, sync. Right? What is sync?
Same time.
Same, na? Same behavior, same pattern.
All the users same time.
Now let's say, okay, I added, right? I kept it 0, 0 by default, didn't change anything. Now let's run now. Okay. So where I kept the timer to which request? Which request?
Second request.
Second request, no? So this will apply to only second request. Okay. Now let's run the script. See, what is the time now? Second request. What is the time? 55? 459. Same or not?
Yes.
Earlier we saw this much of similarity. I mean, just this much of start and same.
No.
No, right? Let's go to our, even if you see here, request 1, anyway, all same time. Now request 2, you see same time. And again, if you go to request 3, again, it's different. See, 9099259, because the synchronous timer is applied to only request 2. So what synchronous timer will do? Synchronous time nothing but the request which you add to timer, JMeter will hold all other users of request 1. We have 5 users, now. Let's take out of 5, 4 come to request 1. So JMeter won't allow the 4 to go to request 2. It will wait for 5th user who complete request 1, then immediately allow the all 5 to request 2 because of this timer. That's where we are able to see the same time. It could be 1,000, it could be 1 lakh users. If there is a requirement, if there is application kind of like this, right? If they want to hit at same time, right? In that cases, we have to use a synchronizing timer to achieve that. Got it? Now let's say I have 5 users. No, let's assume four users are done with request 1. Only single user is taking the time. So do you think JMeter will hold for that 5th user, or it will continue with the 4 users? I mean, it's taking more than time, like half an hour, 20 minutes ho gaya, when it's not able to get it. So what JMeter will do? It will hold the entire script, or it will let it go, and it will continue with the 4 users. What do you think? No, just think and tell me your perspective. What are your views? That's it. It's not about right or wrong. It will hold all other users, or it will let go that user and continue with the 4 users or not. You got a question, right? Everyone?
Yeah, it depends upon the thread group options what we select.
Okay. Others? Come on. Suresh? I mean, do you understand the question or not?
Yes, bro. Once again, can you ask the question? I am not getting that question exactly.
See, now what is synchronous timer? Synchronizing timer will try to hit all the requests at same time.
Same time, correct.
If request 2 has to be hit, right? So as by default, what is JMeter rule? JMeter rule default is nothing but it will execute everything in a sequential manner. It can't go request 2 or request directly without request 1. Correct?
Correct.
So
Same time, correct.
right now, to go to hit the request at same time, what it has to do, it has to wait for all the other users who completing request 1. Correct?
Yes.
Right? Then only it come to request 2, na? So now assume that in the 5 users we are given, 4 users has completed request 1, and 5th user is still waiting for the response on the request 1. So without synchronous timer, what will happen? All 4 will hit request 2, request 4, right?
Correct.
But as I kept synchronizing timer, the 4 will wait of 5th user to complete request 1, because due to synchronizing timer, all 5 has to hit the same time of request 2. Correct?
Correct.
Till did you understand? Right? Now, one user taking the delay, like it has like minutes to hours, and the 5th user is not getting the response. So what JMeter will do, whether it will continue with the 4 users, or it will wait for till the 5th user will complete the time.
As per me, it is waiting.
Okay. Others, Tejasvi?
Yeah,
What do you think?
it will
It will
continue,
wait.
but as per the thread group, we will be giving, right? Based on that only, here it depends.
Right. But this is very important, no? Because without synchronous timer means it has to wait. There's no other option. But again, we can't wait that much time. We can wait 1 minute or 2 minutes, right? So that's where in the timer we have option. Timeout in milliseconds. By default, 0 means it will keep on wait, whether it's hours or minutes or days. It will keep on waiting only if it is given 0. But if I give here, like suppose I give 4 seconds, it means JMeter max will wait for 4 seconds for any user. If whoever user taking more than 4 seconds, it will let it go. The user will continue with whatever the users it has. Suppose out of 5, only 2 requests are completed, other 3 are taking time. It's more than 4 seconds. Then JMeter will continue synchronous timer to 2 requests only. If the other 3 users crossed the more than 4 seconds. Now you understood the timeout here? So whenever it's possible that there is delays, you can give the delay. Okay, wait JMeter to tell that, okay, wait for this much of delay. If the users take more than time, ignore them and go continue with whatever the users has done with the request. It's clear, right? Timeout. Now, suppose you are doing with some 50,000 user load test. In 50,000 user load test, if I given this synchronous timer, right, what does it mean? I have given that group 50,000 here. I had a synchronous timer to request to. What does it mean? It means all 50,000 has to hit request at same time. Correct?
Same time.
right? So it will do also. But now real use case, that's not real use case, because I can't expect 50,000 users at the same time, right? I can expect, okay, 2,000 or 5,000 or like that, but I can't have 50,000. So, but what synchronous timer will do is that it doesn't have any other option. It will try to hit all 50,000. But in that case, if you want to go for, I mean, a specific number of users, like any 2,000, so that you can give the number of simulated users to group by. If I give here 2, let's say now given 5, let me check it at 10. If I give 2, it means every 2 group users will hit the application. Whoever has completed every 2, right? Any 2 users out of 10, they will go. 1 set, 2, 1 set, 2, 1 set, 2, 1 set. If I give 0, all 10 will wait and will do hit at the same time. But if you give it 2, 2 will go. Okay. So let me first put 0 and let's see this time.
Fixed time, that one.
Sorry?
That is a fixed time, right? That every 2 users at the same time.
Every 2, any 2 users. Think it's waiting for the response, but we'll get the same time here only. Okay, let it be. So if you see, we are all the same time, right? 10 users, correct? So now if I give in here condition says that 2, it means for every 2 set, whoever completed the 2, it will go on. Whoever completed 2, it will go on. It won't wait for all others. Now if you see here the time, if you observe, if you see, right, 2 you will see 928, 961, 961. Okay, let me sort out by time so that we'll see correct 2 time. Okay, see 891, 891, 912, 912, 920, 912, 961, 998, 283, 283. Understood, right? It means every 2 it will go as a group. So whoever completed 2 requests will go. 2 requests go. 2 users, 2 users, 2 users. So when I'm going for higher load, like 50,000, 1 lakh, or 10,000, in that case, if you're in synchronous timer, so that's not a really expert use case. In that case, you can use this option. Okay, that's enough number of simulated users to group by. Clear, right? Synchronous time is very, very important concept. How we can achieve the concurrence of individual request level with this help of synchronizing timer only. Okay, the timer is nothing but how long JMeter can wait for the other users. Number of simulator of users to group is nothing but how much group of sets you want to go with. If you give 0, it will give whatever the thread group number it will go with. If you give any number here, it will work on that one. Okay, suppose you forget, right, what is the number of users? So group by what will do? Control H. Let's go to control H. What is synchronous timer? The purpose of synchronous timer is block threads until X number of threads have been blocked, and they are all released at once. A sync timer can create a large instance of loads at various points of this plan. Okay, let's see timeout. What's timeout here? If it's set to 0, timer will wait for number of threads to reach value in the number of simultaneous to group. If support is 0, then timer will wait max timeout in milliseconds. If after the timeout, the entire number of users will not reach, the timer will stop waiting, defaults to 0. What is number of group by? Number of threads to release at once. At once, how many threads you have to release? Setting to is 0 is equivalent to setting to number of threads in thread group. If it's 0 means what is the number of threads in thread group, it will follow the same. Okay, clear, right? Synchronous timer, random timer, constant timer. Okay, so let me stop the recording.